Way back in time, when Ahab ruled the land, Jezebel was queen. The ways of God she banned. She worshipped a statue, and all the people knew this was the wrong God, but his worship grew. Elijah warned the people what they did was wrong. There would be a drought, and it would last for long. God sent his man to where there would be water in a brook. God instructed ravens, and to him meat they took. The people were all thirsty. Nothing really grew. The people and King Ahab didn't know what to do. But God directed Elijah to a place called Zarephath. Here a widow gathering sticks was brought across his path. All she had was some flour and a little bit of oil. With her son she'd eat one last meal after a little bit of toil. Elijah said, "Don't be afraid, go now and cook for me. Your jar of oil, your pot of flour, until it rains will always be." This happened as Elijah said. The miracle was from God's hand. The widow and her son survived just as God had planned. God spoke to Elijah, "Move again, go to Ahab and demand. Your prophets are to face me. On Mount Carmel they must stand." All the people were called to stand upon Carmel Hill. They must decide the true God who could demonstrate his will. 2 bulls upon altars were set up for the challenge that day. If fire came from heaven, the people would know the way. 450 prophets of Baal danced around their altar. They danced there until noon. Their strength started to falter. "Where is Baal?" Elijah cried. "Is he busy or having a sleep?" Was there a voice from Baal their God? No, not a peep. When Elijah's sacrifice was ready, he dug around a trench. Then with many jars of water the sacrifice he did drench. Elijah prayed to his God, "God, do what must be done. Let the people know today that you truly are the one." Fire, it fell from heaven. It burnt up everything in sight. Stones, water from the trench. God really showed his might. The people, they all bowed down. They had seen his might that day. They pledged they'd follow him, and they would live his way. 7 times Elijah prayed, with his face between his knees. 7 times he called his servant to look out to the seas. A tiny cloud had risen. Elijah warned Ahab now to ride. The rain, it was so heavy, you were only safe inside. The people didn't follow God. They lived just as before. Elijah was so despondent, he had expected more. There was a man God pointed out. He said, "He will follow me." Elisha he was called, and he followed faithfully. He wouldn't need the plough again. He'd work for God alone. To cook he'd use a fire, and in it the plough he had thrown. This is what God desires, those who truly follow his ways, not those who to old ways return, but follow all their days. God looks for true disciples, those who believe in Christ his Son, those who've turned away from sin, who God's love has truly won. He has for you a purpose, something only you can do. He's looking for faithful followers. Will one of these be you?